Hello, thanks for joining me. This video is all about a trade I'm about to take on a new company. I'm going to add it to my strong buy portfolio, a portfolio that's been running for about 12 months now and has got exceptionally good returns. I'll share those first before I go through the new trade. Details of the trader on Seeking Alpha platform, if you're a member of that platform, it goes into some detail, but I will talk about it today and exactly what they do after I've looked at the performance of the strong buy portfolio. It's doing extraordinarily well. I'm really proud of it. It's a great project. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, please subscribe, hit the like button, but let's get into the detail of the portfolio. Now we're looking at the performance of the strong buy portfolio. APR average 70%. Really proud, it's going really well. So far I've closed two trades. One of them was in the money, one of them was loss making money. I invested $497 in total. I'm aiming for about $250 per trade for this portfolio, and we have made a profit of $452, 91%. Can't beat that really, can you? We've got 10 open trades, 7 are in the money, 3 losing obviously. Total I've invested so far $2,600, and it's showing a return of $705 so far. Now if we look at the actual trades, they're on the screen in front of you now. INQ and Bitfarms, the two in grey, those are the ones that are already closed, and you can see the other ones that are open. You'll notice that there's a couple of big companies in there. We've got Meta in there, we've got Microsoft in there, and I find those when I'm investigating some kind of technology they're leading in. Microsoft, it was based on quantum, and Meta was based on digital humans, articles I wrote on Seeking Alpha. The vast majority of these companies though are fairly small, undercovered, less well known ones with great tech and excellent finances, and I think they're going to be huge winners in the future. And today I'm going to add a new company. I'm going to go through what they do, why I think they're great, what price I'm buying them at and how much I'm buying, and they'll be part of obviously the next video as we track their performance. There's a couple of trades that I should mention before we go on, because there's a couple that are due for review now. Really, there's issues with Net Power. One of their main suppliers appears perhaps to have gone bankrupt, Zachary Group, or there's big issues with Zachary Group. I've not looked into it yet in enough detail, so I've got to review that. We've also got Elva. Very disappointed with how Elva's gone really. Electrovia, that company's called, a Canadian battery company, and they're not making the progress I was hoping for. It's not showing in their profits, so I'm going to have a big look at that. And then of course we've got the current big losing one, Luna, space company, looks great, underperforming, perhaps not making the progress we'd like it to, so we'll look at that as well in detail. But first off, I am going to look at today's new trade, Taboola. So let's have a look at what Taboola do before I really talk about why I think they're such a great investment. Got Google up in front of me, as you can see. I'm just going to type in CNBC and whiz along to the CNBC market. Obviously a big company, part of the NBC group, huge company, and we've got this list of news articles. I'm just going to go for the first one. Doesn't really matter. What am I interested in reading? Yeah, I don't know. Let's have a look at Ryanair. It makes no difference, does it really? I could choose any of them, but I'm going to look at this Ryanair article. And here's the article. We're just reading down here. Read the whole article. And we're all familiar with this. It's kind of how it goes everywhere, isn't it really? And then after the article, when I get to the bottom of the article, this feed comes up, and you can see Taboola feed. This feed is provided by Taboola, and it's how they make their money. The feed is a combination of more articles on CNBC, and if I click these links, it's just going to take me back into this kind of CNBC site to read something else, and at the bottom of that article will be another feed, and on this right hand side we can see we've got some articles. It says from around the web. There are various articles that I might choose to read. Some of them are just stone cold advertisements. Here's one from eBay. Some of them, Volvo cars, that's a paid for advertisement as well. And if we read down, we get various things from the World Wide Web. Now Taboola is recommending these things to me. It's trying to find things that I might be interested based on the things it knows about me. Some things to buy, some articles to read from other Taboola people, again more from inside CNBC. This whole feed is provided by Taboola and their recommendation engine. if they get it right, if they put down here things I'm interested in, one of two things can happen. Either I can click on a link within CNBC and stay on CNBC, which helps CNBC obviously to keep me as part of their customer base, to keep me watching what they do, or I could click on one of their advertisement links. If we go back to the original page so we can check out an advertisement link, if I was to click on one of their adverts, then Taboola would receive money and they would share that with CNBC. The great thing is that Taboola sign exclusive long-term contracts with these content providers like CNBC. Nobody else is allowed to put their information on here. So if you want to have an advert on CNBC, Taboola is the only place that you can go. There's nowhere else. Now you'll notice when you look at these Taboola ads, on the whole, they are smallish companies. We've got a little company here from eBay making an advertisement. We've got this little pizza oven place, Uni Pizza Ovens. Never heard of them before, but they're small-ish companies, and that's really what Taboola do. They do performance-related stuff, so they only get any money if I click a link. I'm not going to click a link because I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to waste these companies' money, but Taboola will only get paid if I click a link. So those recommendations have just got to be good. If we then carry on and look at the article I wrote about Taboola, this is the article on Seeking Alpha, where I recommended a strong buy. This is why it's called a strong buy portfolio, because articles that I've recommended before, and we can see a few really quite important points. The first one is the growth in their share price. We can see the share price here is coming down, so it's at a relatively low point. That's always great when I'm about to buy somewhere. It also seems relatively inexpensive relative to its competition. It's trading at 2.8 times its revenue as opposed to the trade desk trading at 100 times its revenue. So it looks good value at the moment, I would say. The other thing, if I look inside its finances, we can see its revenue is growing really well, and its gross profit has been on a nice upward trend. Slight down kink here in 2023 before it picked up. Now I'm expecting a step change in finances. There's accounts due next month, and the accounts for the rest of this year I think are going to go significantly higher, probably more than is expected, and that's why we might see a big jump in the share price. They've signed an exclusive contract with Apple, so if you go to your Apple News or your Apple stocks, the feed there is now exclusive to Taboola on a 5-year contract. So if you want to advertise on Apple News, the only way to get there is through Taboola. They've signed a 30-year agreement with Yahoo. I mean, 30 years is astonishing, really, where every single one of Yahoo's digital assets now can only be accessed through Taboola. It's astonishing, really. It's almost a license to print money at the moment, Taboola. I think it's going to do fantastically well. Now, as always, I've done a fair value, looking at what I think is going to happen to this company in terms of its free cash flow. And there you can see a quick view of it on the screen. If you want to read it in detail, you're going to have to go to Seeking Alpha. But what it does is represent a fair price of about $14 from the current price of $3.35. So I think there's a huge amount of money to be made here in Taboola. I think it's going to do really well, and I'm going to add it to the portfolio today when the market opens. I'm now going to have a look at a few charts to talk about a little bit more about Taboola and a little bit about those companies from the strong buy portfolio I'm a bit concerned about. See if it's time to think about taking a loss of those, or are we going to live with it for the time being. So I've got the chart up for Taboola in front of us. We can see our entry point is going to be around here, around 345 when the market opens. The long-term trend from November looks pretty solid as it goes higher, and at the moment the Elliott wave count is showing a pretty bullish sentiment, both short-term and long-term, pointing higher. It's not a perfect chart, because if this low breaks at around $3.15, $3, it could be going quite a bit quite a bit lower. Really, I've got to be a little bit careful. Stochastics are showing oversold, which we like. It suggests that we are close to a turning point, but the chart to me looks fairly clear. We've got a clear A, B, C, three-wave movement that looks like, and Elliott wave theory always suggests a three-wave movement is contra to the trend. If we just project this wave higher, so let's project the pattern forward, it will give us a potential target price. It's quite high, this target price, so we're going to have to just zoom this down a little bit to fit it in. Still higher than that, so where is this going to be? There it is, up at $9. We're expecting this next move. So that's a pretty good trade, isn't it? We like the look of that, we like the technicals, we like the fundamentals, and we like the story. So we're really happy to buy into it at this point and see what happens. I also mentioned there was a couple I'm a little bit concerned about, so let's have a look at those charts while we're up. First of all, we've got Electrovia up. So this is the chart from Electrovia. And we can see it's really not doing as well. If we look at when we were first buying this thing here back in 2020 at 60 cents, it was very quickly up to $10. So it made that was a fairly significant move higher. But since then we're in a little bit of the doldrums, aren't we? It is possible, and we're hoping that we caught this wave 4 low. That's where the last trade was in, somewhere around here, wasn't it? This is the pattern we're trying to get, this wave 4. However, if the price drops below that wave 4 bottom, so if it gets below $2, this pattern, this whole thing we're trading will have failed. We'll have to do a complete review at that point. Still 20% away from there, so I'm going to have to look into this really. I'm going to have to check the fundamentals, have a look at what's going on with this company, and make a decision. Are we thinking about getting out of here now? Perhaps we are, but I'll update next time. The other one I'm concerned about is Luna, the space company. Slightly nicer chart here. If we look at 2024, this is the point that they had their first successful moon landing, and the price shot up. Unfortunately, it fell back a little bit on its side. When the lander got on the moon, it fell back a bit, and so we had this fall back to this point. And since then, we've kind of meandered along. I think there's a very good chance that this trade is still solid. We're expecting great news in November when their next landing is due to take place, or the next takeoff is due to take place, and if that goes well, we can see this price moving higher. Once again, it looks immediately bullish, this count. If you're not familiar with Elliott wave, I might do a video sometime to explain exactly how this works, but I'm a strong believer in it. I don't think I don't take it for granted that this is going to be the case, but in conjunction with all of the other stuff I do, all of the fundamentals and the story and the finances behind these companies and the competitive strategy of these companies, it just confirms, it's a confirmation of what I think, and advises me when problems may arise. Well, that's all for this video. I really hope you liked it. I hope you decide to follow future ones and see how this project with the strong buy portfolio keeps going forward, and I hope some of you are going to follow along these trades and perhaps make a little bit of money with you. If you did like it, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I really look forward to producing my next video.